everyone. Welcome, Kim. Can you tell us a little bit about our parenting series and what we're hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, so welcome everyone. My name is Kimberly Blair. I am the Executive Director here at Mid-Ohio Psychological Services. So we're really excited to offer, we have foundation funding from the Columbus Foundation to create this parenting series that we want to provide accessible education for parents and supporting adults that guide children. And we have this four-part piece in our parenting series where we are offering parenting pep talks, which is what we're doing today, which they're kind of quick 10-minute, 15-minute accessible topics for parents to just hop on social media or find the recording. We'll put them on our YouTube channel as well. Just quick advice. And then we have 4 parenting workshops that are offered in the evenings for parents to learn more about how to handle their child's emotional health, sexual health, and other topics like that. And then we have parenting self-directed courses where parents can come on, or loving caregivers can come on, and they can quickly go through learning activities that are self-directed. And the goal is for the learning activities to be done within 30 minutes. So they're accessible, they're on demand, they're free. Parents can have access to them at any time. And then the fourth piece is just on-demand parenting resources for parents on just quick tip sheets. You know, our goal for this program is to provide opportunities for parents to learn, to grow, and have accessible education in their quick-paced and fast-paced world. We know that parents have all sorts of strains in taking their kids to all the different activities, managing things at school activities, and that don't have time to sit there and read long books or go to long parenting courses. And so our goal with this project is to provide ways parents can get education in a quick and fast, accessible way. And so with these 4 different modules or ways of providing accessible care to parents, accessible education.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little description of everything that we're doing. I'm very excited to do this. So today we are here to talk about emotional health. So what should parents consider when it comes to their child's emotional health?
Yeah, so excellent question. Emotions, we all have emotions, and our emotions are valid. We all have feelings. And sometimes when children experience big and tough feelings, it can be very difficult for parents in knowing how to respond. So one of the things that I teach parents is that emotions are a way of us communicating. So if a child's laughing, it's communicating they're having fun. If a child is maybe angry and yelling, then maybe it's like, I'm experiencing a tough emotion and I don't know how to handle it. And so framing it that emotions and feelings are ways of us communicating what we're responding to our outside world and our internal world helps kind of separate those pieces of being afraid of tough feelings and big feelings. So when we see our emotions, it's important for us as parents or caregivers to help our children to express their emotions and feelings so that we can communicate, not dismissing the emotions, not saying, don't cry or don't, you need to behave or you need to be calm or whatever it may be, that it's our job as parents to acknowledge and recognize those emotions as a way of our children communicating with us.
Absolutely. That's great. So what are a few quick tips that parents can do to help their child with their emotions?
Yeah. So one of the things you'll hear me say multiple times is acknowledging and validating that emotions exist and that they have a place and that all emotions and feelings are valid. And that can be very difficult as parents. We want our children to be a certain thing, act a certain way, behave a certain way. And we have high expectations for our children. And so when our children don't necessarily fall into the line of our expectations or respond the way we want them to respond, it can be very difficult as parents to acknowledge that their feelings are valid or their emotions are valid and that they all have a place in time. So it may not be how the parent feels. So going to a new situation where a parent's like, we're going to this new situation, we have to go to this situation or this event, and I expect you to enjoy it and have fun and do those things. I know as myself as a parent, when I drag my kids along on what I think is going to be a fun event, and they react and like this is not what they want to do, acknowledging that there's a difference, that validating that's okay for children to have a difference in what the parents expect and what the parents feel. And then, you'll hear me say validate, acknowledge, notice, recognize. Those are really important words for parents to keep in the back of their mind. And even saying it and labeling it out loud, like I acknowledge, I recognize, I hear, I see, really help parents kind of identify what the feeling is and separating what their expectations are and what their child is experiencing. So if parents can acknowledge their emotions and help the child identify and label their emotions, that can be an excellent superpower for that parent. Teaching our children to acknowledge, identify, recognize, embrace our emotions helps our children build their emotional intelligence in recognizing what they need for the future. And what we know about children who have strong emotional intelligence, they're more likely to succeed as adults. And what we really want as parents is to raise healthy humans, raise healthy adults. So we also know that children have this basic need. We all have a basic need, not just children, but we all have this need to be loved, feel safe and secure, and acceptance and belonging. And children are constantly responding and trying to build their needs and get their needs met. So they have this just deep desire, especially in the formative years, in this beginning years, to understand what it means to be loved, what does it mean to be safe and secure, what does it mean to feel accepted and belonging. And so when us as parents can provide validation for emotions and feelings, we are building those needs. We are fulfilling those needs of feeling loved, safe and secure, and acceptance and belonging. And it is our job to build those pieces. When we acknowledge our emotions and we communicate and recognize that they're there, and then really listen to our children, we are building our children to be healthy humans and adults. And so listening to our children really matters. And I think that's really hard for parents to listen and really recognize that they have an equal voice in what's going on with them. That doesn't mean they get to control everything. That doesn't mean they make the decisions, but they do have an equal voice to be heard. And I think listening is a great way to help build emotional health in our children. When we listen to our children, we communicate that we love them and that we help build their self-worth. We help them believe that they are just as worthy as every other individual. And like we come back to what we need is love, safety, acceptance, and belonging. When we listen, we're saying you belong, you're safe here, your words are safe here, your feelings are safe here, and I love you for who you are. When we listen attentively, we are also demonstrating empathy, that we're teaching our children that it's okay to feel what they feel, that we're not going to redirect their feelings. We're not going to discipline their feelings. It may not be what we feel in ourselves. When children feel those tough emotions, it's very difficult for parents not to just roll over and say, you shouldn't feel this way. You need to go to school, or you need to do your homework, or you need to, and all these you need pieces. And what we're doing is we're dismissing, we're saying you're not valid, that you don't have a right to feel that way. And so when we listen attentively and express emotion or express empathy, we're really noticing what our children are feeling emotion in their emotions and building their emotional health. What I teach parents is, kind of a three-step piece is first notice their emotions, recognize it, acknowledge it, and then help children be friends with their emotions instead of the shame or dismissing or criticizing. Just be friends, like acknowledge, hey, it's here, I see you, embracing that piece, and then validate that our emotions are important, that are an important way for us communicating. And if we don't let out our emotions, it's going to contribute to further problems with our behaviors and our thoughts later down. And then the last piece that we can do as loving adults and caregivers for children is that to help them when they experience those really tough feelings, those big feelings, is to help guide them and coach them through steps. What's the next step? So if my child came to me and said that I really don't want to go to school, I'm scared to go to school, it's a new school, validating, embracing, noticing, I understand you feel really anxious right now. It's okay. It's hard to do new things. And then what do you think we can do to help make it easier? When I do that, I'm not giving my child the solutions. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, you can stay home today. I'm not excusing the behavior or the emotions or, protecting them from those pieces, but in helping them come up with the solutions for what are the next steps so that I'm not dismissing, but I'm embracing. And then what are we going to do next? So our job is to support, model, guide, and coach our children through all of our emotions, the tough emotions and the positive emotions.
Absolutely. That is so great. And I really enjoyed in your example that you used that your child was telling you how they felt, and you kind of put a feeling to what they were feeling. So, saying XYZ, you're feeling anxious right now. And I think that's such an important step to add, so that it helps them better identify their emotions just based on their feelings. So what do you think parents should do if they forget to empathize, listen, or acknowledge?
Yeah. So, as parents, we all make mistakes. And I think it's really important to recognize that we're humans. There's no such thing as a perfect parent out there. So, acknowledging when we forget to do that, when our emotions get the best of us as well. And that, because I can tell you a time where my child didn't want to go to school. And I was like, you just have to go to school because I need to go to work. Um, and then I had a moment of like, maybe I should practice what I preach and take a step back and acknowledge and say to my child, you know what? I didn't handle my emotions really well right now. I wasn't listening to what your needs are, and then finding a way to repair that piece. I think, as parents, it's really important to acknowledge when we make mistakes and that we can show our children that it's okay to make mistakes. And then what do we do after we make mistakes? So, not avoiding the mistakes because those will happen, but acknowledging that we made a mistake and then how we're going to repair that. So, I think that's a really good question, Jennifer. And then the other piece I would say is even when we acknowledge our children's feelings, they may be even experiencing such tough emotions. Like, there's been times I was said to my child, "It looks like you're pretty mad right now, or angry. You're frustrated with your sister." And my child has said, "No, I'm not. Stop doing that. Stop saying those, labeling my feelings. That's okay too. Like I'm not here to say that if you do this, this, and this, it is a perfect formula, and your child will accept what you say, give you a hug, and everything will be okay. Because that's not reality. But it's important to be consistent with our kids of acknowledging their emotions, and even if they reject your acknowledgement, that's still okay.
See, that's so great. So, what do you think parents should do if they feel their child's emotions are negatively impacting them?
Yeah. So, children do experience tough and big feelings. And we know that one in four children experience some sort of mental health challenge. And so, if your child is experiencing some intense emotions, some emotions that is impacting them in multiple environments, they're struggling really to go to school, or it's impacting them with friendships, or impacting them at home, and they're experiencing those intense emotions, those tough feelings for more than 2 weeks, then we recommend that you consult a mental health professional. Certainly, you can consult with us, but there are plenty of mental health organizations out there that can meet your child's needs. And so, reaching out to a mental health professional, we strongly encourage that. And they may say, "Hey, this is normal with child just experiencing tough feelings, and here's some tips and tricks to guide with that." Or they may set up a treatment plan and find some support for the next steps to coach your child through that mental health journey.
Thank you. I think that is such a useful information to know, especially for parents trying to navigate that. So do you have any other recommendations for parents?
Yeah. So there's two of my favorites, like big fangirl on these two individuals. Dr. Lisa Demore, I like have her book like always by me. It is The Emotional Lives of Teenagers. And there's also a podcast called I think it's just Ask Lisa. I don't think it's Ask Dr. Lisa. She puts a lot out on her social media, really great tips and tricks for children and their emotional health. And then my other person that I really enjoy the messages is Dr. Becky Kennedy. And I think her Instagram handle is Dr. Becky. She has an amazing TED Talk out there that talk about repairing relationships and when we make mistakes as parents. She has a parenting program called Good Inside. So those are the two that I have in my back pocket at all times, and really think that's a great resource. And then, we're here for our parenting program. I would strongly encourage, if you're listening, to check out, if you go to mopsohio.com, and Jennifer, I think you can put it in the comments to the resources, and parenting series. There's a button for parenting series, and you can find all the information about our parenting series. Again, all of the resources, our parent education resources, are free thanks to the Columbus Foundation. They're on demand. This will be recorded on our YouTube channel. There'll be multiple videos. Our goal is to get those down in 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And then also our parenting course, a self-directed parenting course, and then our parenting workshops, and then our parenting on demand one-page tips that are great resources for parents.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for all the information and talking to us about understanding your child's emotional health. And then we look forward to talking to our next clinician next month.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.